It's 10 o'clock. I'm going to start it. Good morning, everybody. It's 10 a.m. and I believe we have our quorum. Chuck, are you here? Yeah, you're here. Today's date is November 18th, 2021, and it is the 693rd regular Arizona Racing Commission being held via Google Meets. I am Sherry Koss, and I will be acting commission secretary today. Cassie Goodwin is here, so you may hear two voices helping me out today, okay? So I'll do roll. Commissioner Coolidge? I can't hear you. Commissioner Coolidge?
Chair, maybe try refreshing our page. This happened to me last time and I had to just press refresh.
Present.
Okay. Commissioner Garay?
Present.
And Commissioner Olson?
Present.
Okay, we have our quorum. Time is 10:01.
Thanks. I'll call to order the 693rd regular Arizona Racing Commission meeting of November 18th. We can jump into the executive session items. Actually, Lena, do we have an agenda for these items? Do we need to meet on 1, 2, and or 3?
Well, 1 and 2 would be my wheelhouse, and I do have some updates for the commission if you want to jump into that executive session.
I'll move to enter executive session for item 1,
No.
Richard Troy Smith versus State of Arizona Racing Commission.
Second.
Okay. I have a motion to go into executive session from Coolidge and a second by Olson. Call roll is Commissioner Coolidge,
Yes.
Commissioner Garay,
Yes.
Commissioner Olson.
Yes.
Okay, we are going to be leading the first open session, and the time is 10:02.
I'm here.
Okay, there you go.
Perfect. There you go. Go ahead, start.
Okay, we are back into the second open session, and the time is 10:06. Doing roll call, Commissioner Coolidge,
Present.
Commissioner Garay,
Present.
and Commissioner Olson.
Present.
Okay, the time is 10:06.
Thank you, ma'am. I will move to enter executive session for item 2 in the appeal of turf racing.
Chair, before we do, can I make a motion to direct the attorney to
excuse
proceed
me.
as
Yes, ma'am. I'm gonna-
directed?
Yes, please. Go ahead.
I'd like to make a motion to direct the Attorney General to proceed as directed as discussed in executive session.
Second.
Good morning, Commissioners. If I may interrupt before we go into executive session, can somebody please send me the link?
Ma'am, we have a motion and a second on the floor.
Oh, sorry. I thought you voted. Sorry about that.
No problem.
Okay, roll call. Commissioner Coolidge,
Yes.
Commissioner Garay,
Yes.
and Commissioner Olson.
Yes.
Okay, we'll be leaving open session, the second open session, to go into the second executive session at 10:07.
Madam Secretary, would you mind forwarding the executive session link to the attorneys?
Sure, hold on.
And I'll go ahead.
And was Commissioner Olson's motion to proceed as directed, was that voted on?
It was
Okay.
and passed.
Okay. I don't know where I was. See you in executive session.
Exactly. I'll go ahead and make that motion again to enter executive session for item B2.
Second.
Okay.
Do we still have Mr. Garay?
Commissioner Coolidge, Commissioner Olson, this is Cassie Goodwin. I stepped out of the room to send the meeting link to Ms. Alarcon, and I missed. Was there a vote to go into executive session then?
There was, I don't think it had been seconded because we're waiting on Commissioner Garay.
Okay, thank you. That's what I thought I had
Oh,
heard
sorry.
from the other side. It's okay. So we're still in open session, and as soon as he gets back into the meeting, then we will go ahead and proceed with that process. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Madam Secretary, would you mind giving him a shout to see what I have in there?
Yes, sir, I'm already on it. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Lena. Who are we waiting for, Garay?
Have a motion on the floor, unseconded, to move to executive session item B2.
I had made a second.
Oh, I don't think it came through.
Yeah,
Okay, so
I'll second it again.
Okay.
Madam Secretary?
Okay, so we have a first from Coolidge, Commissioner Coolidge, and a second by Commissioner Garay. Roll call, Coolidge? Commissioner Coolidge?
You unmute your microphone.
Okay, I have the first from Commissioner Coolidge and the second from Commissioner Garay. Roll call, Commissioner Coolidge?
Yes.
Commissioner Garay?
Yes.
Commissioner Olson?
Yes.
Okay, we will be moving into, or ending the second open session, and the time is 10:11. Okay. Good. We exited open session at 10:11 to go into executive session.
We're in the
Okay.
third open session,
Okay.
and it reconvenes at,
Okay, can I say everybody here? Do I
yeah,
have-
just check and see if Mr. Coolidge.
Okay, is Mr. Coolidge, Commissioner Coolidge, are you here?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Court.
Good. And we are back now into the third open session, and the time is 10:15. Roll call, Commissioner Coolidge.
Present?
Commissioner Garay.
Present.
Commissioner Olson.
Present.
Okay, and the time is 10:15.
That said, I will move that we go into executive session. Or, excuse me, Commissioner, you want to make your motion?
I move that the Assistant Attorney General do as instructed during our executive session.
Second.
Do I do that now? What? Okay, Coolidge, okay. Okay, I got a motion from Garay and a second from Coolidge. Commissioner Coolidge,
Yes.
Commissioner Garay,
Yes.
and Commissioner Olson.
Yes.
The time is 10:16. And we are,
Move that we enter executive session on item B3.
Second.
okay. Got a motion to move into executive session by Commissioner Coolidge and a second by Commissioner Olson. Commissioner Coolidge,
Yes.
Commissioner Olson,
Yes.
oh, Commissioner Garay, sorry, went out of order there. And the
Yes.
time is 10:17, and we will be moving into executive session.
I'm here.
Okay.
Thank you. Okay.
Okay, this is the fourth open session. We are reconvening at 10:35. I'll do roll call. Commissioner Coolidge? You're on mute.
Present?
Okay. Commissioner Garay
Present.
and Commissioner Olson.
Present.
Okay. Thank you. We have a quorum.
Thank you, ma'am. We'll move over to action items C1. Oh,
Before we do, can I make a motion?
That's the third time I've done it. Go ahead, Commissioner.
I'd like to make a motion in regards to agenda item B3, Sims v. Sims, to direct the attorneys to proceed as discussed in executive session.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion by Commissioner Olson and a second by Commissioner Garay. Roll. Commissioner Coolidge?
Yes.
Commissioner Garay?
Yes.
And Commissioner Olson.
Yes.
Okay, motion carries.
Thank you. We'll move to, I'm sorry. Move to action item C1, approval of the 2020 Arizona Racing Commission meeting dates. Looks like we have Mr. Nolan who has requested to speak. Mr. Nolan, do you have something to add to this? Mr. Nolan, are you there? Okay. Any questions or concerns from my fellow commissioners on this item?
None from me. Seeing that Turf Paradise is running pretty much Monday through Friday, there's really no off day to have this meeting, so everything looks good to me.
I will move that we approve the 2022 Arizona Racing Commission dates as listed.
Second.
Okay, I have a first motion by Commissioner Coolidge and a second by Commissioner Garay. I'll do roll. Commissioner Coolidge,
Yes.
Commissioner Garay,
Yes.
Commissioner Olson.
Yes.
Okay, motion carries.
Thank you, ma'am. We'll move to action item C2, approval of race officials for the 2021-2022 Turf Paradise Race Meet. I'll hand that back to the department for any additional information opposed to the packet that we've already received.
No additional for me, Mr. Chairman. Brian, do you have anything additional?
No, the only thing I will say is they are very qualified, been in the racing industry for many years. Other than that, no, that's all I have.
Any questions or comments from my fellow commissioners?
I'll just add that I met both Jason and Jeff a couple of weeks ago. Very qualified, great guys. Looking forward to having them here on the team and love the hats.
Great. Commissioner, you want to make a motion?
I would like to make a motion to approve the new stewards for Turf Paradise, Jason Hart and Jeff, and I can't remember Jeff's last name, but both Jason and Jeff as racing officials at Turf Paradise.
I've got it as Jeff Williams.
Yep,
Second.
Jeff Williams.
We have a second.
By Commissioner Olson?
Also, yes, ma'am.
Okay. All right, I got a first by Commissioner Garay, I believe, correct?
Yes.
And Commissioner Olson. Roll. Commissioner Coolidge,
Yes.
Commissioner Garay,
Yes.
and Commissioner Olson.
Yes.
Okay, motion carries.
Move to action item C3, the request for Arizona Downs for off-track betting facility, Luke Greenway, American Legion Post 1. I'll open the floor up. Looks like we have Mr. Author and Mr. Buser scheduled to speak. Mr. Author, why don't you take 2 minutes?
Go ahead.
Hi, this is Dave Author. We don't really have anything to add except that we presented all the proper paperwork. The City of Phoenix approved it, and unless there's any objection to it, we ask that you approve the American Legion Post as an Arizona Downs OTB. If there's any objection to it later on, perhaps I can address that, but if not, we can move on.
Does Mr. Buser need to speak? Buser?
Apparently, he's a gentleman at the. He's a gentleman from American Legion, and he was unable to log in apparently. But again, he would be available to the extent there's any objections.
Got it. Thanks.
you.
Any comments or questions from my fellow commissioners before I make my comments?
Well, I do know we have hopefully still some negotiations going on regarding the OTB signal, the Monarch signal, and I know this has just dragged on too long for our customer base here in Arizona. They want to bet on the Monarch tracks. And with that, there's negotiations possibly going on that throwing in now another OTB into this discussion, I think is maybe not appropriate at this time. I think we need to let's get this network settled down first and then move forward. That's just my thoughts.
I have more of a question than a comment, and I recognize, I just want to know from the department whether, one, everything's in order from their perspective, and it sounds like, I think all that might be outstanding is an inspection, but I'd like to hear from the department on that.
Yes, Commissioner, this is Brian Duncan from the Department of Gaming. You are correct. Everything has been turned in. We're waiting for the approval, then we will do an inspection.
Thank you.
Comments for me on this. I'm sorry.
This is Kelsey Lundy. I apologize. I had sent in an email early this morning about wanting to speak to this agenda item. Can I go forward or?
Yes, ma'am. Go ahead. Why don't you take 2 minutes?
Okay, thank you. This is Kelsey Lundy representing Turf Paradise. We just want to, for the record, oppose the approval of this recent OTB that is within the 60-mile radius of Turf Paradise. As everyone is aware, Turf Paradise is in the middle of or the beginning of their live race meet, and under the Federal Horse Racing Act, Turf Paradise does have the right to not approve wagering on out-of-state tracks while their race meet is in operation. And Turf Paradise has gone on record as not giving permission to Arizona Downs for their OTBs to accept wagers during their live race meet. And until this issue is resolved and either the 60-mile rule is enforced or we are able to come to a resolution to Commissioner Goray's point on the Monarch signal and OTBs, we would request that this OTB not be approved today, and I'm happy to answer any questions. Thank you.
Thanks, ma'am. My comments on this is really revolving around the last 2 years now. The commission, department, industry stakeholders have been, for lack of a better term, begging Arizona Downs and Turf Paradise to come together to build an agreement on how you can both work together in this industry and in the state. As far as everyone's on this call is more than knowledgeable about, we have made zero progress in how that's moved forward. Myself and the department have spent countless hours trying to facilitate meaningful negotiations to come to a resolution with what seems to be unwilling parties on both sides, more interested in opening and operating off-track betting facilities than actually owning and operating their own racetracks. With that said, I'm no longer interested in facilitating new off-track betting facilities for either party, nor will I be accommodating special emergency sessions to allow these last-minute racing deals to come together for what feels like long-term bluffs from both sides. I told both of these tracks many times what feels like over the past year or two to figure it out on your own accord because you likely won't like my way. So now I'm going to step in as a commissioner on this commission and say, I hope by doing this lets you know how serious we are, that you need to take these negotiations to the table, to the department, and figure out either establishing a one network program and building that system, or figuring out another way to move forward together harmoniously so that we can continue this industry moving forward. So with that said, I'm going to move that we table this item until further notice.
I would just like to make a comment before I second. First, Chuck, I just want to thank you for all the effort you put into this. I remember your first meeting, I think it was, and this came up, and I was the chair, and I was like, we've got somebody new here that doesn't know everything that's going on and can maybe bring some new breath to this. You have. Unfortunately, we're still here. I appreciate everything you've done since that day I appointed you to kind of take this on. And with that, I would second your motion to table this item.
Thank you.
I have a hand raised from Charlie Billingsley.
We have a motion on the floor.
Okay. Okay.
I could speak toward the motion.
Okay, I've got.
Go ahead, Charlie.
Oh,
It's actually Dave Arthur. We're all in Charlie's office at Arizona Downs. I'm stunned. I'm really. I don't know if this camera works. I'm really stunned to hear the comments from the chairman that somehow we have been obstinate in trying to get whatever negotiations going that you prefer us to have. We sat through many meetings on a single network just a couple of weeks ago, and Chairman Coolidge was there. And right before we had the last meeting, we got an announcement from Mr. Casillas that Turf Paradise was unwilling to engage in any further discussions. And so that pulled the rug right out from under our discussions, which we thought we were making progress on. Secondly, the 60-mile rule comment from the lobbyist has already been resolved months and years ago. That has been turned down. We've read the cases, and Turf Paradise has actually filed suit against us to enforce the 60-mile rule, which they just withdrew, dismissed their lawsuit with prejudice, so they are not able any longer to even enforce the 60-mile rule in Superior Court. So as far as we could tell, it's all been withdrawn. The American Legion application that we've made is they're 6 miles, 7 miles, and 8 miles away from the closest Turf Paradise OTB. Turf Paradise has closed it down 4 months ago, and American Legion came to us and said, would you please reopen it? And we looked it over and we said we would. I don't see, as long as you understand that when you say you're going to table our OTBs, all it does is help Turf Paradise because they have enough to survive, and all it does is pretty much run us out of business because we don't have enough OTBs to survive. We're just trying to...
While I have my issues with Arizona Downs, I also have equal issues with Turf Paradise, meaning, you know, at one point Arizona Downs was willing to watch Rome burn because of 4 OTBs that you guys, or excuse me, 5 OTBs that you have open to turn the entire network off for the entire state.
That's not true at all. That's absolutely false.
Sir, I'm speaking. Now, on the other side, Turf Paradise was willing to do the same thing until the rubber met the road. So we have continuously been moving forward to try to make progress happen in the state to build this out. I don't feel like either track is interested in doing it. And even to this point, we're still arguing about off-track betting facilities. And to that said, we have a motion and a second on the floor. We're going to move forward.
I'm afraid you're going to put us out of business.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate your time.
Okay, I have a motion from Commissioner Coolidge and a second from Commissioner Goray to table C3. Roll call, Commissioner Coolidge,
Yes.
Commissioner Goray,
Yes.
and Commissioner Olson. Okay, motion carries.
Move to action item C4, simulcast agreements. Can you please, I'm not sure who's pending in 7-7, please mute your line. Action items C4, simulcast agreements pursuant to ARS 5-112U. A, Arizona Downs for Churchill Downs, Naira, excuse me, it's just Churchill Downs and Naira. Mr. Duncan, do you have anything to add to that?
Yes, sir, Mr. Chairman. I supplied and reviewed the contract, and all is in order. The division would recommend the 5-112U contracts be approved for items C4, A1 and 2.
Mr. Duncan, this is Commissioner Olson. I just have a quick question for you on agenda item, on the Naira Tampa Bay Downs agreement. And I appreciate maybe your comments just covered this, but the agreement that we were given said that there was something to be provided on the last page, and I didn't see that included. And so I was just wondering if you have that information and if your recommendation stands.
Yes, my recommendation still does stand.
Thank you.
I'll move that we approve the simulcast agreements pursuant to ARS 5-112U for Arizona Downs under Churchill Downs and Naira.
Second.
Okay, I have a first from Commissioner Coolidge and a second from Commissioner Garay. Roll. Commissioner Coolidge,
Yes.
Commissioner Garay,
Yes.
Commissioner Olson.
Yes.
Okay, motion carries.
Move to 4B, Turf Paradise, Churchill Downs and Naira. Mr. Duncan.
Yes, sir, Mr. Chairman. Again, I supplied and reviewed the contract and all is in order. The division would recommend the 5112U contracts be approved for items C4B, 1 and 2.
Thank you, sir. Just looking through it on my side. Looks good here. I'll move that we approve 4B, 1 and 2 for Turf Paradise, Churchill Downs, and Naira.
Second.
Okay, I've got a motion from Commissioner Coolidge and a second from Commissioner Garay. Roll. Commissioner Coolidge,
Yes.
Commissioner Garay,
Yes.
and Commissioner Olson.
Yes.
Okay, motion carries.
Move to item 5, simulcast horse racing import signals pursuant to the IHA section 3004A3 for Arizona Downs. We'll go through 1 through 7. Mr. Duncan, anything that we need to be aware of there in addition to the paperwork we've received?
In addition to the paperwork, Mr. Chairman, there is not anything new that was added. Items 1 through 4 were missing just your approval, which you just approved. Item 5 is missing the host commission plus the 5112U approval. And then 6 and 7 is missing the host commission, host horseman, and the 5112U contract, which was approved. We're still missing a few documents, which we will track and communicate with the committee. Like has been done before, we will track and ensure that they turn these in before we have them turn their signals on. And with that, the division would recommend that the IHAs for Arizona Downs be approved.
Chair, I'll go ahead and make a motion unless there's any comment.
No comment from me.
I'd like to make a motion to approve the simulcast horse racing import signals pursuant to IHA section 3004A3 for Arizona Downs for Aqueduct, Mountaineer Park, Mahoning Valley, and Tampa Bay Downs.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion on the floor by Commissioner Olson and seconded by Commissioner Coolidge to approve Aqueduct, Mountaineer Park, Mahoning Valley, and Tampa Bay Downs for Arizona Downs simulcast signals. Roll call, Commissioner Coolidge,
Yes.
Commissioner Garay,
Yes.
Commissioner Olson.
Yes.
Thank you. That motion carries. Those tracks are approved.
I'd like to make a conditional motion to approve the simulcast horse racing import signals pursuant to IHA section 3004A3 for Arizona Downs for Turfway Park, Fairgrounds, and Oaklawn Park, provided that we receive all of the requisite documents and empower the department to approve those documents once they are received so that the tracks see no delay
Without coming back to the commission.
without coming back to the commission.
Second.
Thank you. We have a motion to conditionally approve Turfway Park, Fairgrounds, Oakland Park on the condition that the documents required for the out-of-state horsemen's tracks are received by the department. And that motion was made by Commissioner Olson, seconded by Commissioner Garay. Roll call, Commissioner Coolidge,
Yes.
Commissioner Garay,
Yes.
Commissioner Olson.
Yes.
Thank you. That carries.
Thank you. We'll move to action item 5B, Turf Paradises 1 through 5. Mr. Duncan.
Yes, sir, Mr. Chairman. Under 5B for turf, item 1 was only missing your approval, which you just approved. Item 2 is missing the host horseman, plus the 5112U contract. Items 3 through 5 are missing the host commission, host horseman, and the approval of the 5112 like Arizona Downs, Turf has submitted most of their IHA documents. However, there are still some that are pending. And again, the division will make sure that we collect all these documents before we do give them permission to operate their signal. The rest are the ones that are pending. We would recommend that the signal be approved once we do receive our documents.
Thank you, sir. Any motions from my commissioners?
I'll make a motion to approve simulcast horse racing import signals pursuant to IHA Section 3004A3 for Turf Paradise for Aqueduct.
Second.
Thank you. Having a motion by Commissioner Commissioner Olson to approve Aqueduct for Turf Paradise on their simulcast signal, and seconded by Chair Coolidge. Roll call, Commissioner Coolidge,
Yes.
Commissioner Garay,
Yes.
Commissioner Olson.
Yes.
Okay, that carries.
I'd like to make a conditional motion to approve simulcast horse racing import signals pursuant to IHA Section 3004A3 for Turf Paradise for Tampa Bay Downs, Fairgrounds, Oaklawn Park, and Turfway Park, provided that the commission department receives all of the requisite documents, including host horsemen for Tampa Bay Downs and host commission and host horseman down documents for Fairgrounds, Oaklawn Park, Turfway Park, and the commission to empower the department to approve those documents without coming back to the commission so that the track does not see further delay.
Second.
Thank you. Having a motion by Commissioner Olson to conditionally approve Tampa Bay Downs, Fairgrounds, Oakland Park, Turfway Park for Turf Paradise, that the requisite documentation is received by the department, and the department can go ahead and give the approval to run. And seconded by Commissioner Garay. Roll call, Commissioner Coolidge,
Yes.
Commissioner Garay,
Yes.
Commissioner Olson.
Yes.
Thank you. That motion carries.
Move to action item 6, which is the authorization for the Assistant Attorney General to decide procedural matters in current litigation without further consultation with the Commission. Ms. Lena, you want to give an update on that?
Certainly. Given the last time that a continuance was requested and we did the ratification of that, I'm just asking to be able to approve continuances, request for extra time, anything procedural without coming back before the commission and requesting a special meeting. So just those procedural matters, I'd like the commission's approval to proceed on without further consultation.
Any questions?
I was just looking to see if Commissioner Olson had some.
No, but I was going to make a motion unless
Okay. No, I was just.
I'll move to authorize the Assistant Attorney General to decide procedural matters in current litigation without further consultation from the commission.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Motion by Commissioner Olson, seconded by Commissioner Garay. Roll, Commissioner Coolidge,
Yes.
Commissioner Garay,
Yes.
and Commissioner Olson.
Yes.
Okay, motion carries.
Thank you. We'll move to D1. Dr. Gale, would you mind giving us a track safety report, please?
Yes, good morning, Chair, Commission members. Just a brief report for me today. I'm happy to announce that the state has contracted with Dr. Jenica Bergsma to perform pre-race exams, and she's got a great deal of experience as an equine veterinarian, racehorse veterinarian, and I think she's doing a fabulous job. I've been working with her a little bit here the first couple weeks, and had about 60, 70 horses to examine each day. There have been some scratches for unsoundness, and that's the whole point of having these pre-race exams, is to try to avoid having horses on the track that have problems that may result in further injury. On that note, we did have one catastrophic injury during racing here in November out of about 500 starts. So our rate of breakdowns per 1,000 starts remains at 1.94. That's all I have. I'd be happy to take any questions.
Well, I do have one comment. First, I want to thank you, Dr. Gill. I was able to watch you a couple of weeks ago when you were doing the pre-race exams, and you were, from what I could see, you were doing a very thorough job, and I really appreciate the effort and the time you put into each one of those pre-race exams. Much appreciated. I also do have a question. I do know that there was a safety inspection done at Turf Paradise prior to opening, and I'm questioning as to, I had to request that in order to even get a copy to see what was going on. And my question is, why was that not part of our package for this meeting? I do think it's important for us to see it and discuss it, and the public to see it and be able to make comments to it. And I'm just a little miffed as to that it was not presented in our packet for this meeting.
Understood. I may defer to Enforcement Manager Brian Duncan. I believe he's been the most active party regarding those issues. I wonder if he would make a comment.
Thanks,
Yes,
Chris. It was on my radar too.
I apologize. I did not know that you guys wanted it on the agenda. I would have been more than happy to supply it.
Mr. Duncan, if you wouldn't mind getting that to the secretary to distribute to the commissioners, we'd all appreciate it.
Be more than happy to.
Thank you. Thanks, Doc. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
We'll move to the budget report. Mr. LaForest, you want to give us an update there? Or Director?
Well, it doesn't appear that Jason is on. He has not informed me of any budgetary concerns at this time, so I believe that we're in good shape.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Guessman, do you need a couple of minutes or have any updates on the Horse Racing Integrity Act?
Yeah, Commissioner, just a couple of quick things. Good morning, Chairman and Commissioners. Leroy Guessman, representing the HBPA. I would like to say that I distributed a report, I hope you all got it, showing the racetrack safety regulations that are proposed. This is not the final version. This is just a draft that they're working on. But when they get a final version, that version will have to go to the FTC to be approved. I want to say this is not 100% factual, but a couple things I've heard from some very reliable source involving HISA. The first one is the HISA is only at this time going to cover thoroughbreds. It is not going to cover quarter horses. I'm sure that will change over time. I think they're finding taking over this endeavor is quite a job, and by July 1st to have everything in order. But I'm hearing from pretty good sources that it's going to be thoroughbreds only. The other thing I've heard is only going to affect graded stake tracks. So if you're a track that, which all three Arizona tracks do not have any graded stakes, they will only be working with graded tracks that have graded stakes. And lastly, I will be going to the symposium the first week of December, and HISA is putting on a presentation at the University of Arizona Symposium. So whatever information I gather from that I feel will be useful to you, I will forward on when I return. Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, if I could add one comment to that.
Yes, sir.
I was recently on Google Meets with ARCI regarding the HISA projections and what have you. One of the things that they mentioned also was that any jurisdictions that are involved in the IHA simulcasting, they will be involved because it involves federal law. So any jurisdictions that do not have export simulcast, HISA will not be involved in those particular jurisdictions. And that's all I've got on that.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate it. We'll move to, the permittee reports. 4A, American Greyhound Racing.
Mr. Chairman, members of the commission, we have no update this month. Thank you.
Appreciate it. Thank you, sir. Arizona Downs.
Hi, Commissioner and Commissioners. Chairman, a half hour ago I would have had a real good report. Everything's great.
Can you identify
What's up,
yourself for the
It's
record?
Tom Author. I'm sorry.
Thank you, Tom.
But after what just transpired, the track's in great shape. The logic of bringing Turf Paradise to the table by refusing to give Arizona Downs any more OTBs escapes me. We're at the table. We didn't leave the table. There's a statute which answers this. I would ask the commission to enforce the statute, which says we get our signal during our meet, he gets his during his meet. It could be settled that easily. Again, that's the law, the way it's always been, but I'm afraid by punishing us and rewarding Turf Paradise, it's going to have the exact opposite effect as what you hope. And yet we respect and are grateful to the efforts you folks have put in. We're still at the table. This is not that hard to fix. Go to the statute, but don't reward Turf Paradise for their obstinance by refusing to let us grow our business. That's all I have to say.
Thank you, sir. Just as a quick update there, we appreciate your willingness to go to the table. I, again, am more than willing to come back to the table and sit down with everyone and make sure we're on the same page. This is not the commission trying to, quote unquote, punish Arizona Downs or punish Turf Paradise or benefit any of the tracks. We are doing this solely to make sure that we make forward progress, in addition to what my fellow commissioner said on not disrupting the current negotiations. So in the event that we can put that together, I will make myself available and look forward to those conversations with both racetracks. Thank you. We'll move to 4C, County Fairs. Brito, looks like we have someone signed up to speak for that.
Yes, my apologies. Good morning, Mr. Chairman and Commissioners of the Department of Gaming for the state of Arizona. My name is Michael Sanduli. I'm a junior here at the University of Arizona, and on behalf of Mr. Weiss, who unfortunately couldn't make it today, we've had the wonderful pleasure of working with Rito and speaking through a personal experience. Without Rito last year, honestly, was not a whole lot of fun. I'm a major in the racetrack industry program. I arguably live for horse racing. It's kind of my life. So not having Rito around last year was definitely not a lot of fun. A lot of the students are looking forward to it this year. With Mr. Weiss also being a part of the university as the career coordinator and counselor for U of A students, we were able to go to the Breeders' Cup, which was sponsored by, forgive me for a moment, it was sponsored by Arizona Downs, Turf Paradise, and Rito as well. He's very much looking forward to having the students. The students love to work with him. It's an honor and a pleasure to work for him. He has, just one second, I just need to make sure I have everything with me. He has brought in Dan Fick to hopefully come back as a steward. He's requested to come back as a steward. He's about as renowned a racing official as it can get. Leader in the industry and part of the Racing Officials Accreditation Program. We speaking in Rito, are thrilled to have him and are more than happy to do whatever he commands, essentially. We also have a new venue manager, Mark Van Buren, who is a retired Marriott manager. He's currently working on cleaning and upgrading, lots of repairs, fresh paintwork being done, fixing up the jockeys' quarters, as well as working with Pima County and creating a new glass-enclosed judges and announcers stand. We've also focused on upgrading food services If I had more time, I would love to continue. However, unfortunately, I know you guys have a lot to do today. It was an honor and a pleasure to speak today, and thank you very much for giving me the time to speak.
Thanks, Mike. Great report. Appreciate it.
Of course.
We would move to Tucson Greyhound Park. They don't have any updates, so we'll move over to Turf Paradise.
Yes, this is Jerry Sims. I'd like to make a quick comment. About a week ago, the chairman and commissioners and department, I put forth a plan about a week ago to hopefully settle the Monarch issue, and I'm fully willing to sit down at any time and discuss it. But I think it's a very workable plan. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Is that your permittee report?
No, Mr. Chairman, Chairman Coolidge, Vincent Francie, Turf Paradise. I'm prepared to amplify on the permittee report if it pleases the commission.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Let me focus my remarks on safety because I can see that is first and foremost on the minds of the commissioners as it is on ours here. So let me update you on where we are with safety matters out here. When we speak of safety matters out here, it's divided into two main areas. One is the track surfaces, meaning the main track and the turf course, and then of course the stable area and the facility itself. Looking at everything that we're doing to keep things safe for the horses and riders on the main track, that of course involves equipment. And Mr. Sims has amplified things in maintenance quite a bit. We have a brand new grader, and not only is it more powerful than the previous one we have, but it has the auto slope capability, which the operator of the vehicle can put the grade that he wants, whether it's 2% on the straight and the back part of the track or 5% on the turns, so that everything is accurate all the way around. We have 3 new tractors to complement the ones we already have. Water trucks, that has been the most important thing to me, and I've had several discussions with Mr. Sims. We have 2 up and running. Yesterday after noon, Mr. Sims made an arrangement, so we now have 3 water trucks up and running, plus 2 more water trucks in our shop being repaired to go out into service. Additionally, we have a brand new lawnmower for the turf course, which with this lawnmower, we're able to mow the entire turf course in one day. There's also some other smaller equipment matters that we've procured to make things not only more efficient but safer. But the most important thing are the tractors and the water trucks, and that's where we made the greatest strides. Yesterday, for example, during the races, this is something I have not seen in a long, long time. 4 tractors came down the stretch pulling their harrows, and I can't remember the last time I've seen that. And what is that doing? Why is that important? Well, everything is at the same grade simultaneously. It's a lot different than if you have 2 tractors go around that have to go around again in order to encompass the entire track and grade. So when I was watching workouts this morning, the track superintendent around Hudson Ryder had the track as perfect that I've seen. I could hear nothing. It didn't matter if the horses were walking, loping, galloping, or working out. There was no sound. That's when you have a track in total balance. Handle-wise, I just want to refer to the purses. This is just after 9 days, because last year at this time we were not racing. But during the first 9 days last year, we had given out $879,000 in purses. This year we've given out $1.2 million. That's a swing to the positive for the horsemen of $355,000. Questions, if there are any, I would be happy to answer, Mr. Chairman.
Is the training track up and running?
It is up and running, yes. Okay. And that's good because we are now over 1,300 horses on the grounds. That's generally when we have it open. We're waiting for 3 big outfits out of Canada to arrive. and 2 more big outfits out of Chicago. By big outfits, I mean 25, 30, 40 horse stables.
And has I know there was some concerns about the receiving barn, apparently some, how it was going to be done. Has that been resolved?
Been resolved, Commissioner Gore.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
We'll move to item D5, which is the Industry Stakeholder Association updates, Arizona counties. Arizona Quarter Horse.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, Commissioners, Lloyd Yost, Arizona Quarter Racing Association, or now I guess we're known as Arizona Quarter Racing and Breeders LLC. We have nothing to report at this time other than the fact I do have a question, if I may. For future planning and progress moving forward, do you have a date that they'll have where they approve the race schedule for Rito? Or have they applied? I guess that's my first question. I was told that they applied for dates, but I haven't seen it on the agenda.
I haven't seen them. I would open that up to the department.
Mr. Chairman, Mr. Estrada can provide an update.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir, Mr. Chairman. We are still currently working with Rito Park on trying to get all their documentation in so we can submit it for your approval. Last communication I had with our financial team, they're not quite where they want to be at, and that's why I don't want to release a premature date or that they're going to have everything in on time. So at this point, it all depends on them on how fast they want to turn in their paperwork to our investigators. However, they are turning it in, but it's trickling in. So that's the latest status I have on Rito.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I appreciate your time. Thank you very much. That's in the Arizona Quarter Racing and Breeding Association, or LLC, excuse me.
Arizona Thoroughbred. HBPA.
Hello.
Yes, ma'am. Go ahead.
Hi. Sorry. This is Wendy McCumber from the Arizona Thoroughbred Breeders Association. I hit the wrong button, so I apologize.
No problem.
I just want to say good morning to everyone, and we also just wanted to say thank you to everyone that came out to our annual sale on October 28th at Horseshoe Park in Queen Creek. We had a very successful sale this year. Our sale wouldn't be possible or successful without both the support of the racing and breeding communities, so we just really want to say thank you. And we're also looking forward to our Arizona Breeders for Charity Stakes that will run on December 2nd. So good luck to everyone, and thank you.
Thanks, ma'am. HBPA.
Yes, Chairman Coolidge and Commissioners, Leroy Gussman with the HBPA. Everybody kind of covered my report, but I will go through a couple things. We are up and running turf. We have been working very closely with Brian Duncan and Vince Francia on the safety issues. I feel like we made a lot of progress. The new equipment has made a big difference, and this new water truck will be the final thing I think that'll get us over the hump with the racetrack. Ralph, the superintendent, is making great progress with the track and is doing a great job. He's really trying hard. We appreciate his efforts. We've been working with Jason and Adian and on the enhancement contracts. We have finally got a contract we all agreed to, and they have been executed, waiting on Director Boyd's execution, and then hopefully some funding will start coming to help us with the purse account. I want to say that we have already scheduled meetings with both Arizona Downs and Rito to start discussions on contracts and the 2022 meets. I have meetings set up in the next 2 or 3 weeks with both tracks. Also, I will just add to the Rito report. I was at Rito 2 weeks ago, and I was pleasantly surprised in all the progress they have made in cleaning up the grandstand. The kitchen area looked immaculate, and the guy, I forget what his name is, that's doing it, the guy from the Marriott, but he's doing an excellent job, and I appreciate everything they're doing down there. They're making a lot of improvements. That concludes my report, unless you have questions. Thank you.
None here. Thank you, sir. Really appreciate it, and glad to hear it about the track. We'll move to Jockeys Guild.
Mr. Chairman, Lloyd Joseph, Arizona Quarter Racing Association, if I may.
Yes, sir. Floor is yours.
I didn't report on the fact that we also, excuse me, we also received our contract from the gaming department for the COVID funds, and it has been resubmitted to them with signatures and moves through the proper channels to be approved. But we did get that as well, and it's in process. Thank you.
That's great news. Thank you, sir. Did Jockeys Guild need to speak? Okay, move it to the commission reports or matters to be placed on future agendas. I have none.
I don't as well.
Okay, we'll move to call of the public. Sounds like we have Mr. Nolan who'd like to speak.
Can you hear me now? Hello?
Yes, sir.
Hello?
Mr. Nolan, we're going to give you 3 minutes.
Okay, thank you very much. This is, I want to apologize to the commission and to the department for being technologically ignorant, and this is my third device of the morning trying to communicate. If you'd give me an extra minute concerning the C1 item and why I wanted to speak, for 30 to 35 years, these commission meetings were always held on dark days so that the racing participants could participate in a much bigger fashion. We're at a crossroads in Arizona racing right now. Over the past 5 years in these commission meetings, we've had a hearing that went forth that's now just made it all the way through our state Supreme Court, I believe, made a decision. I think you dealt with that in executive session number 3. All of that needs to be much more transparent. The duties of the department and of the commission for the state is to protect the racing participants, being both the humans on the backside and the equine, and also the wagering public. And when most of these participants are in on race days, they can't participate in this open forum in order to discuss the relevant needs. With that case in the Supreme Court recent decision, we don't know the environment of racing. What's going to happen if the decision is rendered this way or that way? And these people's livelihoods, people live here from year in and year out for years. And we need this commission to be much more transparent, not always go in an executive session. Let us know what's happening in those cases in case we have to be uprooted and left. It could be because many threats to close the facility have been put out there. If at the right time and you, the commission, feel it's necessary to reschedule these to when we could be available, I hope that you would consider it at that time. But I want to go forth with another matter. It has to do with some of the safety concerns. I was a part of the safety team that walked the track and was there. It was pretty appalling. The public records request that I got concerning that safety report that you have just now requested brought a lot of awareness and urgency to the permittee's response. There's a lot going on completely fast within 2 weeks. Makes me ask what people did during May, June, July, and August, and September. This has all happened in 2 weeks. And it was all because of a person who had the willingness to do what was right and stand up for safety.
1 minute, sir.
And that needs to be addressed in an open forum. I'm surprised that you don't have that safety report. And when we talk about all this new equipment, who's paying for it? Did Turf Paradise pay for it, or is this taxpayers' money that's paying for it? And it's a responsibility under Section R192-104. Clean, neat, safe, and immediate compliance. So with that said, I'm going to move to my last item. Commissioner, a couple months ago, I filed a petition timely to ask that an agenda item be put back on. I addressed it in public comment as directed by a commission official, Cassie Goodwin. And if it's not going to be done, can I get the legal and factual reasons for the denial for me to be heard on a petition that was filed timely? And with that, I think Ms. Goodwin will have those previous documents. I hope that she will supply them to you, and I do hope it's on the next meeting's agenda. Many things are at a crossroads. We need to move forward, and this industry needs to be aware of what's happening. More transparency, please. I thank you for your time.
Chair, we can't hear you.
Thank you, ma'am. Moving to G, which is the next regularly scheduled
Excuse
commission
me,
meeting will be at 10
Commissioner
a.m. on
Coolidge.
Thursday.
I'm sorry, I had signed up to address in the call to the public myself. This is Commission Secretary Cassie Goodwin.
Yes, ma'am. The floor is yours.
And I would like to let everybody know that is with mixed emotions that after 10 years as the Racing Commission Secretary, I am resigning from the Department of Gaming. I have been offered and accepted a position at another state agency. It has been a pleasure getting to know all of you over the years, and I hope that everyone can work together for the benefit of the industry so that it can thrive and flourish once more. Thank you for your support and your trust in me as your Commission Secretary. Have a good day. Thank you.
While I know we're not supposed to comment to the call of the public, I know I speak for the rest of the commission when I say we appreciate your efforts at the department and appreciate you as a whole. So it's a loss for us, and wish you nothing but the best on your future endeavors, ma'am.
And if it pleases the chair, I'd like to address that item as well, but I'll let Rudy go first since he outranks me.
Mr. Chairman, if I may, please.
Yes, sir.
On behalf of the director of the Department of Gaming, myself, and the entire agency, I would like to thank Cassie Goodwin for her dedicated service to the Department of Gaming, in particular the racing division. Cassie has been an asset to the division and has worked tirelessly to keep things on track with the racing matters. Cassie will be a hard replacement, big shoes to fill. It'll be very difficult to get someone with her expertise and knowledge going forward. However, we will make the efforts to get someone in that can perform quality service for the commission. I wish Cassie well in her future endeavors, and once again, thank you, Cassie, for all that you have done for all of us here at the department and the Racing Commission. Thank you, sir.
Thanks, Director. Commissioner Gore.
Thank you, Chairman. Madam Secretary Cassie, it's been, I think, 10 years now here with you.
That it has.
You have been wonderful to work with. I know my 3 terms as chairman, you always kept me up to speed, smacked me upside the head when I needed it. You've just been fantastic. There was a couple of weeks ago when I got the call on a reference for you. There's a part of me that's like, maybe I shouldn't be so glowing about her and tell the truth. Maybe I should be negative so we can keep her, but that would have been wrong. Good luck. I know you're going to be a tremendous asset to where you're going. We're going to miss you, but I do appreciate everything you did for us.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone.
Mr. Chair, if I could, Cassie, I know we haven't known each other long, but your impact on the racing industry is evident even to those who haven't been here for that long. So thank you so much for everything you've done.
You're very welcome. And as I said earlier, and I just can't state this enough, please, everybody, I've been here 10 years. I've watched this process evolve with the racing, and I just really want everybody to come together, work together for the benefit of the industry. When I started here 10 years ago, it was thriving. I know there's been a lot of bumps and turns in the road, and I just hope that everybody can work together to support the horsemen, the industry, and help it to thrive and grow. And thank you for your kind words.
Thank you, ma'am. We appreciate you. Now moving to announcements, the next regularly scheduled commission meeting will be at 10 a.m. on Thursday, December 9th, 2021, likely via Google Meet. And I would hear a motion for adjournment.
So moved.
Second.
Thank you. Having a motion by Commissioner Gray to adjourn, seconded by Commissioner Olson. I'll do the final roll call. Commissioner Coolidge?
Yes.
Commissioner Gray?
Yes.
Commissioner Olson?
Yes.
That motion carries. This meeting is adjourned at 11:31. Thank you.